the losing semi-finalists had to play late last night, and obviously the finalists had to play early this morning.
But then if you're John McAllister, you think, well, I'd rather swap that and have a trophy.
Every single player on the tour would take that. Phil lost last night, obviously in the final, still a very good tournament, and he left here at midnight. I saw him as he was walking out the building, and yeah, he's like, oh, I'm back here very shortly. But that's unfortunately, the price of the success. So
yeah, you say to John McAllister, right, you can have the title, but the bad news is you're going to have to get up at 7:30, have breakfast, and go and play pool again in the next morning. Go on then.
Yeah, it makes it really. It's a little bit tough for their opponents as well, actually. Although I think both players understand the situation and happy to wait. It's not as much of a problem for them.
Yeah, it's not a shock,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to Josh Kane about it. He knew very early, once John was in the semi, that he was highly unlikely not to play, and yeah, could just. Yeah, he came and did some commentary, which was a nice touch for him. Nice touch for us, anyway. Back to this one, and another good chance for Scott Gillespie here to make it 3-0.
He's going to have to play a little plant along the bottom rail here. He's going to have to be made this one. I don't think he's quite straight. I think as you see, he's just going to have to just cut this one slightly to the right and make this plant. Played it well.
Yeah, that's come out really nicely as well.
Just drops this in very softly. No, he's going back the other way. Doesn't want to be on the rail.
Huge problem.
This is what I'd like to rather play that dead weight, so you definitely leave yourself going the other way with the cue ball.
Yeah, straight's no good. Can he jack up and get anything on this, or does he have to top through and maybe get a tiniest little gap?
No.
I'm not sure that shot was ever on.
I think, like you said, it was just to roll it in gently and try and find yourself in between those two reds where you could just nip it into the middle.
Yeah, you could almost reach the cushion and still be able to just about cut it back. I mean, not quite, but nearly. And the window was small, but well within Scott Gillespie's capabilities.
Well, there'll be a flailing arm gun at this one.
Huge for this match. This may well let Christophe Lambert off and unleash him here. He was in a similar situation in frame 1 and he didn't make the most of it, and obviously tried to take out a tough finish in frame 2, but he's got a chance here in frame 3 to get himself going, and he would have feared the worst for 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. Just a bit of movement again there from Christophe. Just bridge handles up fairly rapidly. Feeling it a little bit this morning, but it's going to be off the mark now.
We will see Phil Harrison next, up against the box office Carl Boys.
Well, those two gentlemen have done well there to just edge out their opponents this morning. That would have been hard work. A very hard morning for them. And now for them to freshen up and reset now for the day.
Yeah, John has a little bit more time to reset. He doesn't play again until 2 o'clock. Sorry, no, he plays again in, I Actually, no, they're both playing again very shortly, so ignore me. I know Phil's playing again next because he's playing again on this table. But yeah, John will be back in action pretty quickly as well. It's very congested layout, this one, but it's actually not as bad as it really looks. They all go.
It's just that red, but between the black and the yellow, it will sneak past the yellow into that bottom corner. But it's just how he gets there, because there's a red just above it. It looks a little fiddly to me, that's all.
That transition from top to bottom, he's not got much margin of error to get that one right.
He's just having a little look to see if that other red above it goes through the gap of black and yellow into that right hand corner as well. That will make things a lot easier if it does. Well, he's come down for the bottom one. You see in the background Tom Cousins and Greg Batten. They play each other on the other tables. He's having another look at the red through this gap of black and yellow. So he must have a little bit of angle here on the other red into the centre just to get the cue ball back. He's played that shot well. No, it's a 3 or 4 looks, so he must be pretty confident. Look number 5.
Yeah, it must be tight, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, well played. Good little finishes from Gillespie. Should he make this black, of course.
Yeah, excellent. His best work of the match so far, no doubt about that, for Scott Gillespie. Oh, it's going to be dry. Could there be another twist?
He's looking at the reds and he's changed the yellows, and I know why he's changed the yellows, because of the black ball. He suddenly realised, if I put all those reds, where's the black going? With these yellows, he's got one awkward one that's just on the jaw of that middle bag. Now he can shift it here if he controls the cue ball properly. Oh, he just came the wrong side of it. Tried to just flick it off the rail. Sort of looks at it in disgust. He expected to just nudge that out, and now that's a lot of good news, that is, for Scott Gillespie. Another bad nudge there as he hit that red. He didn't mean to do that, as the cue ball bumps down the table. Well, he's managed to pot the yellow, knock that red in. So this is going to have to go a double into the middle, and then another double back into the other middle. I mean, well, this has to be made because I think it's not a straight double. He's going to have to play it with low to right-hand side. So it's a cross double. Has he trebled it? Oh, he has, and he's knocked the red in as well.
This is incredible.
So he's got 2 choice of pockets if he does get this to the black now. He's going to slam this right down the bottom corner.
Not to be. That was, well, would have been looking very dangerous to Scott Gillespie.
He gets his cross double. Also fires one of Scott's reds in. What he did do when he knocked that red in with the cube, he did put that other red onto the top rail. So that's made it a little bit tricky, but then it's 6-4, it's 2 minutes and 50 odd seconds.
Yeah, and
Scott manages the clock now.
And it's the dynamic of this changes as well with no golden break, as we would have if we were playing in the Champions League, for example. It doesn't have to quite worry so much because there's less chance of that ultra quick response, so it does change how you think about running the clock down. He's still going to have to come up with some shots though.
I mean, ideally, if you need one frame, you need probably 40 seconds to break and dish, and that's a very quick one. So while it's still 2 minutes plus on the clock, if you're Scott, you think, oh, let's just knock these balls in and get the frame, just get the match won.
Forget the clock completely. Just take it out of play. Just make the clearance.
I've got myself obsessed with the clock now.
Yeah, I am 100%, but yeah, I'm with you completely. This wins the match if he pots these 2 balls.
I mean, you kind of think if he just rolls this red in now because the black's dead next to the middle bag. So this ball effectively for Scott Gillespie to go through. Ooh, it wiped its feet.
Well, match has been conceded.
Well,
didn't even wait to see the 8 ball go in. That's caught us all a little bit off guard. Very strange.
On the Ultimate Pool Pro Series this year. And what a break to start that is. Box office with a box office break. And Carl will get first poke in frame number 1. He absolutely creams these. Front ball break from the angle, gets a couple straight in. And a fairly tricky first chance at first glance. Steve Jameson and Simon Webb with you on the comms for this one. I've slotted in for my old mate Tony Holgate.
Yeah, it's been a little while, it feels, since we've seen Carl Boyes. It's great to see what sort of form he's in and how he's playing. Big matchup this for a last 32, isn't it? I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, it is.
No attempt to pot that one for Carl. That was just roll it over and kind of make it a bit awkward.
I wonder if Phil Harrison thinks there's no merit to fudging here almost. Whether he can just think, well, going is easier. He was looking to pot there. I'm pretty sure. He's left Carl in a bit of a pickle. He's left him in a bit of a pickle. This is tough. I think he's snookered on every ball. 8 ball is now more available. That's a good shot. I'm sure the way that Carl's played that, just to move the yellow within almost spitting distance of that red, block it off to the bottom left, was part of the plan. I think in an ideal world, what Phil was thinking is, well, I can maybe play that red off the 8 ball, that'll promote it. Can't do that now.
Yeah, he's got some major thinking to do. Been tough for Phil. Late finish last night, obviously tough loss in the final. Back in action at 9 o'clock this morning. Tough 7-6 victory he's just had over Josh Duaz, and he's had minutes off. And he's straight back out there again. I guess it's the price for going well.
Yeah, the price of success, eh? And he's targeting a finish here. The thing is, I said this last night when it came to his final, you know, Phil is such a seasoned tournament player that actually going roll on, roll off for 8 hours straight is sort of what that's what he does.
He's kind of renowned as being the king of the kind of one day tournaments. You know, even now he is still driving up and down the country and playing in something every single weekend, you know, and he's winning majority of them. So that's sort of the nature of just going back to back to back to back is something that Phil is very, very good at. He's come a little bit far here. He was trying to play, almost try and get himself straight in on the red to play it off the 8 ball, and he's come too far, so he's got to try and rework it again.
What's he looking at here? He's going to play it. He's looking at the red into the left centre and moving the yellow into the 8 ball, I think.
That's a great effort. Not quite to be, though, and this is pretty much going to stop him from being able to get out here now.
Well, you say stop him. I don't think there's much merit to a safety, and I mean, if he can float the one into the top right of the table, he might get his angle to go bottom left on the red off the 8.
Yeah, you kind of make a good point, but that's such a...
I mean, it's a ridiculously tough shot, don't get me wrong, but I think everything's tough at this stage.
Oh, he fancies the double instead. Oh, he's going to get the fluke instead.
Yeah, I don't think Carl, in a weird way, will mind this. Because Carl knows that Phil is digging himself into a massive hole. Carl did the right thing at the start of the frame. He took his colour set, the dominant one, and just made it really horrible at the bottom of the table for Phil. Just dangled the carrot for him. It's a great effort, this.
Oh, this is incredible.
Oh, my goodness. What a shot, Phil Harrison.
Amazing.
That's a little bit special from the farmer. Goodness me. Well, that just didn't look on.
Oh, look how close he gets to the jaw. I mean, that's on the back of the fluke. I mean, that is... Sometimes when you dig, you get out, and he has somehow got out from absolutely nowhere. Catches these one as well, but it is not going to be a chance. So, well, we see Cowboys with an opportunity. It's not bad. It's not ideal. There is work. This is certainly not one that you'd come to the table and think, yeah, I really fancy these, but I don't see him thinking of a safety the way that Phil's going.
I think we've just heard Jordan Shepherd win through against Cormac Kerr on the other table, 7-1 victory. That is confirmed. Rapid victory for Sheppy this morning. That's quite an ominous victory for Sheppy this morning, I would suggest, as he flies into the last 16. He's safely through and awaiting the winner of Matt Cook and Sean Storey. Sean Storey currently 4-1 up in that one.
Carl not happy, didn't quite get the cannon he was after, and now he's in a bit of no man's land here. He can take the yellow in the middle, but he's going to knock the other yellow out the way, and that was his way of opening up the yellow by the 8 ball. Well, that's why he's tried to take the one up the cushion first, but won't drop for him.
Yeah, he was looking to leave the cue ball exactly where he has, because he looked at that exact line to then, I think, play the plant into the left middle and open up the yellow in the 8 ball. I think that was the plan.
Yeah, no, I think it was. It was just tough from where he was. It's not a good chance. And actually, we said that about Phil Harrison a couple of times in this match, and he's managed to get out. This is again not a good chance for Phil Harrison, but somehow you feel he fancies the job here.
Yeah.
Red by the 8 ball's the big one. Is there enough window to play it top right through the gap? And the reason I say that, if he landed straight on the double, could he hold the gap? It looks like there may be room for it right centre later on in the visit. Well, you can see there is gap, but it's not a very big one. So yeah, he's got some problems with that ball. Still has to solve the problem. Normally, a player like Phil would be attacking it early, but hasn't found a way yet. Has he got an angle to screw into it or screw past it? Yeah, past it's what he's thinking then. Looking there, it must be a little bit more room there than it looks. As long as he gets fairly straight on it, he can just cannon into the yellow for the 8 ball. Yeah, that looks perfect. What a positional shot that is. Just slowly just bump the yellow and you're on the 8 ball bottom right. Oh, you forgot about the pot.
Wow.
I mean, that missed by a distance as well.
Oh, Philip.
All his attention was on that little cannon.
Yeah, that's nothing else but loss of concentration.
I don't know.
That's all it is. And I say loss of concentration, loss of full concentration. He's forgot about the pot there. Always focused on the cannon. He thinks he can't miss the ball.
It did look a little bit tighter to the potting angle than I first thought, though. He did get close to the yellow, but yeah, I'm with you. It's one that he's just got away from him. Carl just going to wait, didn't quite have the position he needed. Oh my word. Oh, what a shot that is.
Stop.
Come on.
It, Philip. Even the crowd are laughing. They're witnessing the circus act from the farmer this morning. And then he goes and misses the 8 ball. What's going on?
Oh,
I mean, this shot is absolutely mental.
Takes a little bit of the gloss off, though, when you miss the 8 ball, but it was a tough 8 ball, awkward, hampered, but he actually missed it by quite a distance.
Yeah, and then he goes and spoils it all by doing something stupid like missing the 8 ball. Unbelievable. I mean, what a shot to get there, but I mean, fancy missing that 8 ball, Phil, eh?
Slightly awkward. those 2 balls were just awkward enough that it's kind of stopped him previously from wanting to go. He just has to mind his work on this one in terms of it's one of those pots that can just catch you out. Yeah. I think he thought he missed it, but it always looked into me. It always looked fine.
I think he feels like, yeah, he missed that, but it wasn't the open side of the jaw, and it was one that you always expect to go in.
I thought it was going to be dry. I think Carl thought it was going to be dry as well. Oh, he's darting around looking for a ball. He's found a ball. So he has the opportunity. And this is where I think the mental side of the game is, at the highest level, is incredible, because if he can find a finish here, all of a sudden, the next time Phil comes to the table, he's thinking, I've got to make a ball here, or I may not play another shot in the match. And from the position he's been in this match, that's mentally a tough spot. So, big visit to the table here for Cowboys. And a big visit that's just got a touch tougher. That's a brilliant effort, but he couldn't quite get it pop out. It's a hard one, that, because he really wanted to play it really, really hard, but the harder he plays it, the more it throws, and the less likely he is to get that good contact. So he kind of played a medium pace to make sure of the contact, and it wasn't quite enough with that much traffic to pop it all open. So he needs another cannon. Might be looking for a similar shot here at the top of the table. This time it does throw too wide. Good news, he's opened up the red. The bad news, the obvious, the 8-ball. Similar feel to a couple of Phil's clearances earlier on in the match. Digging hard. The double's available to bottom left, but not the centre. That's most likely, but could try and play into it. But it would have been a gamble. I like playing on the double, which he has done, and he has landed. Double squares up, nowhere near. Really tough to judge, especially for a player like Carl Boys that doesn't play a huge amount. They're the sort of ones that were really going to catch him out. And that may be his last involvement in the first Pro Series weekend of the year. Phil Harrison with this opportunity, and it's pretty much wide open. Just needs to track the bottom cushion, which he's got the perfect angle to do straight away.
The Phil Harrison Roadshow is going to roll on. He's had a very, very good weekend. I know he was beaten in the final yesterday. But John McAllister played exceptionally well. And sometimes that's just how it goes. Phil gave it a very, very good crack at pulling off an incredible comeback. Didn't come far away either. But he's rocking and rolling. He was up at 9 AM. Well, he was up before that, but he was at the table at 9 AM this morning.
Tough victory as well, 7-6. He had to get through on that one against Josh Duaz.
Yeah, back on the horse. Carl Boy's last 32, and the farmer has ploughed through. Victory for Phil Harrison over his good mate Carl Boys.
That's yeah, it's not the English tables.
Games, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's going to be some quick games.
Brilliant break here from Stevie. The hammer with the hammer.
Yeah. Just talking to Sean Story actually, he was saying about the tables don't seem like they're breaking so well this weekend. I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's anything cloth related or anything. I'm not too sure, but
Just feel like it's been a weekend where there's been a lot of really sticky finishes more than anything else, which is, you know, obviously down to the break, but for whatever reason.
Weather outside of the rain, maybe humidity slightly affecting it possibly, I'm not sure.
I've obviously done an awful lot of commentary this weekend, and I wouldn't say I'm not seeing the balls explode the way they should be or anything like that. It's just feel like the layouts haven't been great.
Yeah.
That's a very precise positional shot that Stevie's played. And we talked about getting to grips with the table. He's got that one line lovely.
He's kind of on all three balls, but not ideally. He would have just liked to have been about 6 inches further in, possibly. But it's okay. Tristan Taylor will land on the red to the left centre. Yeah, tried to use the yellow slightly as well. So maybe if he was trying to drift, he was worried about going too far. But he's got a bit of margin for error this clearance. A few balls lead onto each other quite easily, so several ways you can take it. But as long as you're potting that black at the end of it, that's the most important bit. Turn down the one in the centre of the table. So now he's got to get back onto that ball. Whether he's trying to do it then, I'm not sure. Definitely feels like he's come up short there, doesn't it?
Doesn't feel ideal, does it? He's got a bit of a shot to play.
But on the bulk line, you wouldn't really want to. You can leave it till last, but you don't want to be messing about with them yellows, do you? He's going to try and check this back inside.
Oh.
Yeah, just a couple of shots there was short, and he didn't really sort out his route. I think he just maybe had to take one slightly more difficult pot at one point to make the whole clearance a bit easier.
Yeah, just catches that near jaw with pace. It's not going to take it.
That's possibly, say, he's playing that right hand side, so the cue was just pushing to the left slightly, and he's hit it harder, so it's going to push more, and so he's just. Yeah, maybe that's part of the cloth. Maybe
I think that is one thing I would say that maybe has been a bit of a case this weekend, is that you feel like the throw's just been a touch more than you're expecting.
Earlier, it's not gripping as much on the shot, and I don't know, but that it just shows, you know, even with them simple shots, it does make a difference. It affects you how you pop the balls, and when you're practicing all the time on tables, you just learn that naturally. It becomes an instinct in you to how you play it. But yeah, on that shot, Stevie's had to hit it hard, so he's going to throw off before he gets to the object ball, and it's just hit it a bit thick. And Christie's got a nice chance now to make it 1-1.
Yeah, and it's gonna. You feel like the important that he gets this frame. If Stevie makes the clearance there, it's 2-0 obviously, but we've used up a decent chunk of the match clock as well. And Stevie's a master. You don't want to let him get away, so this is an opportunity just to get in, get 1-1, and kind of keep it a fairly sensible start, really. Yeah, 1-1 it is.
I've just stood there with like, how's he played that?
It is such an amazing talent that he has.
Honestly, there was 4 balls round the cue ball, and if I play that, then balls are everywhere.
Yeah. You
know, literally just spreading across the table, making a right mess, chalk all over the table, and he just like pop like that and hit it. And I mean, he played a couple of slack shots later on, which weren't so good, but and it lost him that match ultimately in that frame. But when he played that, I thought, well, just imagine if he'd potted the red, it would have been one of the best one-handed shots ever. I mean, it was anyway, really, but it was just an escape from a snooker, so obviously won't stand out quite as much.
Still very, very impressive. And using it in the right way as well.
Yeah, 100%, yeah, because you couldn't reach it. You would have needed a spider, which would have been difficult anyway. That, for pool players, using the spider is something they're very unused to, like the rest. Yeah, that would have been a mess as well, possibly, because Ollie's not the tallest.
Yeah, no.
Would have needed to set probably a chair or something to stand on as well. But yeah, the way he did it, I was gobsmacked, to be honest. Absolutely gobsmacked.
Well, it's back to this one, and this is the chance that Stevie needs to take. He's got the ball, and now he's got the chance. Does the red drop in the centre? I think it does. It looks tight, but I think it's okay.
It does look really tight, doesn't it?
No, you might have to take it long. It definitely goes up to top right, but that's not ideal.
We need camera 9 for that one.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd screw into it. No, it's a bit risky.
That's a nicely controlled shot. For a player that's struggling with the table, as in with the
sure
cue
he
ball.
played that.
Do you not think?
Do you think he played that?
I think he did, yeah.
But how's he get on the black now?
Well, I thought the plan was to get underneath the red and just float it in and come across the table. So if he gets past the straight on the red, he's fine, as long as the red goes in the right centre.
Yeah, I think
you thought he was trying to slide by?
I thought he was trying to come across the top of it, maybe to play it in the top. Yeah. Cool. We'll see.
We will.
Yeah, we'll see what. It must go in the middle. If it goes in the middle, easy, I suppose it's. But I don't see what benefit is knocking that red across did for him, really, because it just made it probably more difficult to get the black. But he's played that really well, that shot. Oh, it showed the red went easy into the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he'll say he played it that way regardless now. I'm
going to say he played it that way. I'm going to say it's nice to see a player that's getting their touch back on the table.
Nice to see you off the fence anyway. He's still got plenty. Oh, he's got 3. Oh, look at the reds.
Yeah.
Was that last red? Where's it going?
It's just tied up with the yellow at the bottom of the table.
Where's it gone? You've guessed it. You haven't seen that.
No, it has. It's tied up at the bottom of the table.
How'd you see that?
Because commentator's eye.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. Come on, get us on the screen. Come on, the red ball. Where are you going? With Simon Wright. Oh, yeah. Look. Experience that, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going off the facial expression of Christie. He didn't look overly thrilled about how it came out.
Yeah. Another lesson. Commentary lesson that was. 2.0. I didn't know if he might play the skill shot there, because he can still keep the angle on the red, just have a bit of a thinner angle. Because he could have played to move the yellow rather than the red, but he might be going to the red here. Yeah, that's worked out quite nicely. I think them sort of shots you are opening up for just a little bit of luck. He's not really, I think some players would have probably played to move the yellow there rather than the red and stay on the red, but it's come out nicely, so who's to say? And this is lovely. Top through that gap, I think. Just make sure you overhit this probably. Is he screwing? Where's he screwing to? Back off. Unless he's too straight. I don't think he was too straight, but maybe he was. He'll take that though.
The final, faintest bit of hope for Stevie Dempsey right now.
I think
this is it.
That's clutching, I think. There's no doubt about this.
Right in the heart of the pocket. Brilliant stuff from Christie Caulfield.
Yeah.
And a simple 8-ball to win this match with a couple of minutes to spare.
Well played.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from the new professional. Christie Caulfield knocks out the number 2 seed. Stevie Dempsey is eliminated early in event number 2. It was early in event number 1. Disappointing weekend for the number 2 seed.
Yeah. And Cole will be playing Sean Chipperfield should he win that match, and that will complete the last 16 lineup with Luke Gilbert facing off against Christie Caulfield. All right, you're up to date, and Declan Brennan has broken off with a sledgehammer of an opening break.
Yeah.
When we saw him in the Champions League earlier on in the week, actually, in which he was successful, he sort of returned to this front ball break that sort of a bit more traditional, but interesting to see. It's the first time I watched Declan this weekend. He's back to that sort of quite unique front ball break right from the side, bit of a stand-up on it as well, that served him pretty well last year, I thought. And yeah, interesting to see he's gone back to it.
Yeah, he's probably sticking to what's probably brought him success in the past. So, you know, that first break, if he keeps breaking like that through the entire match, then he's going to give himself plenty of looks at first frame chances off his own break. Because obviously the way Tom breaks, he might not have broke well. I think I've watched the first game in the first event when he lost to Jez. He wasn't breaking great in that match.
I mean, I'm still not convinced that was the real Tom Cousins, honestly. It was an astonishing match in so many ways. But back to form in event 2, it looks like, for TC. Good win earlier on today.
Yeah, I think he had come in. He won 7-0 in the first match. Can't remember who he beat in the second match.
I'll pull it up for you with our brand new live scoring setup. We've got Greg Batten 7-4 was the win that he picked up in the last 32, which is a good victory. Greg's been playing well this weekend.
Greg's been in good form for a few. He obviously got through his Champions League group, and he had a decent run in the first event. So yeah, there's not many easy matches, so you've got to play well in every match. And like you spoke earlier about, you know, another upset with Christie beating Stevie Dempsey, but you know, if I lost to Christie yesterday, and he played really well on the outside table, and he was breaking so well. So it doesn't surprise me now when you know, players. Yeah,
shock. It's all relative, isn't it? Shocks aren't that shocking sometimes.
To pool players, it might look like a shock to people that are not out there and playing these people, because you know what they're capable of.
This is a really unique break, this, for Declan.
You'd think that he's going to cut break from that position.
He's looking to square the cue ball up here. Cue ball tracked right in the middle of the table, just like that. It's actually been a little bit slug rack there, I'd suggest.
Definitely a little bit of a slug rack.
But the amount of power that he gets in, because he's putting his whole body into it, isn't he? Swinging it right through from the hips.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of balls have stayed down the bottom of the table, he's managed to get something. Where, I mean, look how well he's hit that break with the cue ball. I mean, that's the biggest target as a player. You know, like, you just want to, if you hit a good cue ball and hit it hard, that's really job done. You can't really do much more than that.
Yeah, exactly. These, even though the break didn't split as well as he probably wanted, because
come out okay.
They've come out okay. The yellows must all connect. I presume the one that's above the black goes into the right corner. If that's the case, then he doesn't have to play a single cannon.
Yeah, it may not, and if it doesn't, it definitely goes left middle.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that there's no. Yeah, you can get away with not playing a cannon here, but you might just have to pick a cute route.
Yeah, and Declan's got good patterns, good cue ball control, so fully expect him to avoid having to play any kind of cannon in anger anyway. He might have to play a little nudge. Nothing where he's like blasted into balls. He's got a little bit too much angle than what he wanted on that ball, but he might, he's looking at playing this into right centre after putting this into the left corner. Yeah,
it's definitely a small reroute.
Yeah.
But he's worked it out pretty well, I'd suggest. Looks like yellow at the top of the table will be last ball.
Yeah, he's going to leave the cue ball roughly where that the yellow just above the black is. That'll give him a nice natural angle just to swing the cue ball over towards just above the right middle, I'd say. There's a big area there where he can't snooker himself. So he's actually picked a decent pattern here, and that's not the best shot. He just wanted to make sure that cue ball went past the red there now.
Well, it doesn't affect him in terms of the shot he's got to play. He doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball, as you mentioned. It just makes the pot a lot harder.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he plays into the top corner now and still have that same angle that presents good position on the black. Okay, so he's gone the other way, which is okay. It's a good recovery, but it just has to play a little bit more of a positional shot. But I think the angle that he's got, he's either going to play the screw back shot, maybe. Oh, he's playing after cushion. You can tell the way he was queuing up.
Yeah, he was perfect.
Yeah. Pretty semi-difficult black. Just has to worry about the cue ball here. Is it? I think he can't avoid the cannon on the red below it, or can he?
Pot's there,
Yeah.
and the cue ball is well controlled.
Yeah.
But Declan's had, to be honest. We got through both, scoreboard-wise at least, relatively comfortably, and he's 3-0 up on the number 1. Top cat. Back with the break. He's got away with that one there.
Yeah, I think he might have just hit the side cushion before the corner pocket, but he could have easily knocked it in. So yeah, I don't think it was quite going in. Maybe he could have slid in.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I mean,
Still
Tom
lucky.
knows he's.
Oh, look at the layout though.
Yeah, he's got away with one a little bit because he doesn't want to be anywhere near that corner pocket.
No. Yeah, you can't ask for a better layout than these anyway.
And sometimes these are little runs that you need just to get yourself into a game, into a tournament. You can't just win matches and tournaments but just by playing well. It's very rare that actually happens. You need little bits of help,
Yeah.
little bits of timing. Ball's coming out nice for you, bad for your opponent.
Yeah, and your opponent maybe making a mistake at crucial times. All these are little things that you sense as a player, you know.
Yeah, not getting kicked in off there.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference for TC between going 3-1 and a break and run and 4-0 down, having just been kicked off again and Declan to break next,
Yeah.
it's massive.
It is massive, yeah. I mean, because of that happened with Tom's break, who's to say that Declan doesn't go dry in his next break? And big break again. Oh,
Well, there's the nudges. He's got work though.
yeah. There's a little bit of a cluster on the right hand side cushion at first glance. At least the cue ball stayed on the table for Declan. Wouldn't have deserved any enough there because he's controlled the cue ball really well off the break again. He will be looking reds. I think what he'll be thinking is maybe pot the one into the right middle, play the plant, and then he's got a good angle on the one to the top left corner pocket to try and bump the bad red out. Oof, he almost missed that. He's actually, because he's hit it a bit too hard, his cue ball's gone a bit further forward than what he wanted. He can't play the shot or I just spoke about there. I don't think that red doubles. I think the yellow maybe is too close for it to double into the.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Bit of work to do here now. I don't think he can pull back. Yes, he is pulling back. How long's left?
17:21.
Interesting choice.
I think in an ideal world he wants to have left the red that he's just played there as possible.
Yeah,
And,
no, I think.
and then he's got a cannon to play next time he comes to the table. Because yellows are horrible. He's left Tom no shot here.
Yeah, no, I think that was a complete legit ploy there from Declan to tie the table up. That's why I kind of asked like how long's left. Still quite a bit of time left, so Tom doesn't have to do anything, you know, stupid or try and go for a finish that's not there. He's got the numerical advantage to make the table better for him. So
Surely he's not. Well, thin cutting over to the top right. Is that what he's played on?
Nah,
I can't see it.
Is he? If he's
But
gonna,
I don't think he's on anything else, Arfan.
if he's gonna, I don't think he can see any of the two yellows in the middle to bore him.
Well, he must have played on this then. But this is horrible. Thin cut over to the top right.
So
Doesn't quite make the pot.
Tell you what, he'll settle for that result.
He's got second prize.
Yeah, he's got second prize, and he's not left anything easy for Declan. Can Declan play this red off the yellow? can't. I don't think he can play it in a way where he can free up the other red. Is he gonna just take the bag, which is, don't see much point in doing that. Let's try to play the other way. See, now Tom's definitely ahead. He just has to flick this ball out now. Could play a snooker. Be tempted to like flick the bad yellow out. I don't know if you can avoid the yellow that's like on the blue spot. That's probably the only reason he's not playing it. Interesting. He's spotted it. What is his plan for that yellow?
I was hoping you'd be able to give me some kind of answer, because answers on a postcard, if not.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe roll. Oh, is he screwing back into it? This is a.
He's not got the full bag here either.
Wow.
What a shot.
It's a brave shot. I think probably deserved better, but.
Has he now got a double at least to top left, I wonder?
Yeah. Oh, he can screw back. It's quite a brave attempt to go for the finish from where he was. Because he was ahead in the frame.
Yeah.
And there was plenty of time left on the clock. So here, he'll be hoping to cannon either red or yellow. Oh, brilliant, Tom.
What a shot.
Cracker. He's hit that so pure. He deserves to get this finish now, because it was a brave finish. You know, not many players would have gone for it from 6-4 down. He's had to play some difficult shots. Fair play, and this is another difficult shot. This is the only thing that can go wrong now. I did expect him to get that, but you know, some of the shots that he's played to get that far.
Yeah, I mean, look how well he's cued this.
He hit that as good as he could. Maybe.
And, you know, it's very rare you see TC ever miss a pot. And especially one like that, you just fancy him on those.
Yeah, especially on these tables too. They're a little bit kind down the rail. I fully expected him to knock that in.
Yeah, they're not that kind though.
No.
he did miss that one.
Yeah,
it's nice to see it stay up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it did think about going, like it was wiggling around in the pocket, but yeah, I can't see Declan making a mistake here now. I was actually hoping Tom, obviously nothing against Declan, get on well with both of them, but everyone loves to see a deciding frame, you know, especially a match of this magnitude. You want to be there.
Well, it looked like it was on, didn't it, for a bit?
Well, yeah, if Tom mopped them up, he had the break. Could have been a 6-all scoreline, but all what ifs now. Formalities for Declan to wrap up a pretty good win. Looking back, you know, a couple of mistakes that he's made, but overall he'll be happy with the way he's playing. You know, he's breaking really well.
Yeah.
He will be a danger. So.
Oh, absolutely, he will be. No question about that. Declan Brennan does it again over Tom Cousins. He's got a good little record against TC at the moment as the destroyer. Declan Brennan wins through and heads on in to the next stage.
We are ready to get underway with his last 16 match, but he's going to have to sit and wait, as it is Craig Waddingham, the Champions League champion, that gets us going, but he gets us going with a dry break, so the bouncer will get the first opportunity here. First glance, I think it's a pretty good one as well.
Normally has a pretty good break, not expecting to get too many opportunities from Craig's break. It's the trouble though, when you have a good break, you split them up nicely. If nothing goes in, do leave it for your opponent. Only really the one red that's tied up at all, the one in amongst the cluster of yellows on the left-hand side of the table. That could be negotiated. The yellow's also pretty open, so just whichever he fancies really. This is a great first visit, first frame opportunity. You always just want to kind of get in and pot a few balls. Maybe that all of these yellows pot cleanly without needing to move them. Even if not, easy enough to nudge from one into another. Got to say, on paper, Craig Waddingham starts as the slight favourite, but only really the consistency that we were talking about earlier on his day. Cy Fitzsimmons more than capable of beating anyone. And it's kind of nice to have players like that. Obviously, the real consistency of your Phil Harrisons and the guys at the top of the table, nice to see, but something quite entertaining from our perspective about people that can be great but aren't necessarily going to do it every day, because you never quite know what the outcome's going to be. I mean, I wouldn't put Cy in the category of he's not a sort of erratic player, but it's just this level, it's very hard to bring your best all the time.
Yeah, it is. It's hours of dedication, really. Sometimes that's hard to find. It is a perfect opportunity to get going in the opening frame of a match, though. Get a feel for the table. With most shots he's going to play in this visit, it's going to have a little bit of margin of error in it.
Yeah, and actually it looks like all the balls did pot. He hasn't had to play any cannons in the end, so it's made it even easier, taking the risk out of it for him. Just taking his time to make absolutely sure of this route. Just want to be precise for your first frame, take the chance. We've seen so many great matchups this weekend, like match after match. You're just looking at it thinking this could so easily be a much later round than it actually is. You see a lot of pool today, of course, playing all the way down to a final tonight. Got the ladies pro final followed by the men's final on the main arena table, and all the coverage of the rounds in between. So, good break from Craig Waddingham and everything other than potting a ball. Cy Fitzsimmons very happy to take what's offered to him.
Well, this time they all fly in. How about that for a break? And maybe the best break of the weekend.
Yeah, a bit of added venom, the fact he's been kept away from the table.
How dare you not let me have a chance at the table?
This is what we're used to. He hits the break so well. See the quality of the strike as well. It wasn't just the pace, but the cue ball tracking back in a straight line.
Well, it's made 3, but he had one rattle that should have dropped as well.
So upgraded his nickname for this season. Was just previously known as Wad, but seems to be debuting a new name.
Yeah. I did notice that earlier on this weekend, actually. Yeah, it's a new one on me. Why not? Silver Sniper. Really good chance this. Pretty much nothing really in the way. Just needs to be careful on getting on the one below the 8 ball, but there's no real issues with that. Could be on it now, but just come back to be on it would be better.
Great break and made to look very straightforward afterwards. It's going to be a quick fire game if it carries on like this. Craig's someone that never looks that fazed by the situation either. The fact the other guy's rattled off a couple, he just comes to the table.
At the last 16 stage.
It's been a good performance from Sean, because Jordan was looking in much better touch in the second tournament than he had in the first.
Also means that all 4 top seeds are out by the last 16 stage again.
It is a tough score. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when you see those 4 names. I mean, those are the top of the top. Obviously people have different preferences, but from a neutral's point of view, I guess it is nice to see some different players getting their moment in the limelight. Could this pattern continue of 6 from the break? Cy Fitzsimmons is certainly hoping not, because He'll only have got 2 of the 6 if that is the case. Undoubtedly the frames on Craig is the most dangerous are these kind of open attacking positions. He's a pretty astute player, so he knows how to mix it in a tactical game, but it's not something he needs to get involved with very often. Going to take the more difficult one down the rail. If he wasn't queuing over a ball, this would be an absolute formality. You're just going to take a bit of care when you're digging down on it. It's another textbook piece of queuing. So easy when you're coming over a ball like that just to flick a bit of side, and that's often a recipe for disaster when playing down the rails, but navigated that nicely. Just trying to force an angle. Ideally wanted to just come just below the centre of the table to get up for the last ball, but it should still be okay.
I think he could end up with a tough 8 ball here. Don't know if he can miss the red. And if he can't, he could end up with a cue ball kind of... Well, if it hits the red, it could flick to the right-hand side. So rather than risking it, you could end up sticking on it. Do you think he can screw past it and come round 2? No, he used the red on purpose.
I mean, that shot looked great. It was fraught with some danger. When you use a ball like that, that white was flying off in a fairly uncontrolled way.
Yeah, it was really well controlled. It was a much, much better shot than it looked. Oh, but that isn't. First mistake in the match. Where's that come from?
Yeah, where has that come from? Because he's played so flawlessly. He didn't for a moment think that he was going to miss that ball.
Big shake of the head. Not sure he can quite believe he's just missed that.
People miss balls for different reasons. That one did feel like one where he just felt like he'd done the hard work and just almost took his eye off it. I mean, he's such a good cueist. I mean, he may feel like he got a slightly heavy contact, but I think he missed it by further than the contact alone would have led to. Wow. Simon Fitzsimmons, what have you done there?
Has he left it?
If he has left it, it's wafer thin. It's also awkward. I mean, it's one thing if you can get your hand on the table and a clear line at the cue ball, but queuing down, it's even harder to pick this kind of shot out. Can he go for the attacking option? Yes, he can. What a great double from Craig Waddingham.
Yeah, surprisingly, very, very solid at it. But unfortunately, 2/10 slower than Phil Harrison is not good. Oh no, no.
Oh, that's a calamitous outcome. Cue ball off the table, so ball in hand anywhere. It doesn't have to be behind the break line. You don't see this very often, do you? So obviously just put that little bit extra into it and go on airborne.
Yeah, what damage done? Yellow and red together on the left-hand side. Is there enough room to get to the yellow? If so, then yellows look pretty good, but the yellow near right centre may be blocked off. So maybe short position on the red, and then red's are the order of the day, because the red on the left-hand side, there's a perfect breakable into the left centre pocket.
Simon sits in his chair. He knows the magnitude of this task is just getting bigger and bigger. That's turned out okay for Craig.
When it was tracking to the bottom cushion, I thought that might be a problem. I think the 8 ball now becomes a problem, because he's going to be dealing with the 8 ball from the top of the table. I wonder if he's got an angle here to top through and move the yellow just below the 8 ball. Maybe no, he's too straight. It would have left him thin on the one at the bottom, but it would have made the back end of the finish a little bit better.
Yeah, the back end of the finish wouldn't have been so bad if he had a ball down this end, but he's going to have to play the one along the bottom rail now and go up for the 2 at the top of the table. So, as you say, he's going to have to come at it from the wrong side.
He did have a glance on the way round to see whether the 8 ball went into bottom left-hand corner pocket. Obviously goes right centre, the most obvious. Yeah, where he's pointing his cue there, that's the biggest window. There is room to get to it left centre as well, but he won't play for it in that pocket unless he absolutely has to. Close enough to the pocket, and I think he's got enough angle. He can do pretty much whatever he wants here. Yeah, he's got just enough.
Yeah, it's kind of ideal. It's one of those angles that you can make a range of shots from. 2 shots away, potentially, from getting this match finished. Getting himself tucked up safely in the quarter-final lineup. Well, he has played for it in the right centre, and that's gone a little astray.
He can just see it, which means he can just make it.
The cue ball will be okay. It will be flying around the table, but it's not naturally heading to a pocket, so it should be okay on that side of things.
And it drops. What a match. What a performance, really. Just that one missed pot. Declan Brennan ready to get us underway in the first quarter-final of Pro Series 2. Staring across the other side of the arena is the former world runner-up, Chris Day. Both players have had big wins so far today. Declan Brennan knocked out the #1 seed, Tom Cousins. Chris Day came through an epic with Phil Harrison. And here they are, both into the quarterfinals. It will be Declan Brennan, though, with the first chance. We're still races to 7 here. Still 50 minutes on the match clock. And it is still Simon Webb and Mark Shepherd with you on commentary.
2 players that look to be in pretty good form coming into this match. That performance from Chris Day against Phil Harrison was really something to behold. Started off well. Phil Harrison fired everything he had at him, which was quite a lot, and Chris just hung on in there, took it to a deciding frame, and then made a really good clearance in the deciding frame under a lot of pressure. One thing about deciding frames in this format is that they're very often played under the 15-second shot clock, because by definition you're going to run out of time in the match, so perhaps takes a bit of the pressure off the players that they haven't really got time to think about it. They've just got to get around the table and take whatever's in front of them. Declan's firmly in that group of players where you can expect a title at any moment. There's a group of players right at the bottom of the top 16, of which Declan's one of them at the moment, that look like potential tournament winners, and that shows just how deep the field's got. The idea that you'd be talking about Declan as just inside the top 16 would have seemed crazy a season or 2 ago.
Yeah, I actually think a step more for Declan. I think it wouldn't surprise anybody if he turned up to win. I'm expecting him to win a tournament soon. Obviously, he won the Masters last year, the WPF World Masters. But it wouldn't surprise me if he ended the year as the 4th season's Player of the Year. It's that sort of player that he could target a season like that. He is the sort of player that could get on a run, of the same sort of ilk as we have seen with a Shane Thompson, a Mick Hill, or a Tom Cousins. Not with shots like that, though. Very surprising.
Yeah, just catching a bump of the middle pocket. That should have been off the side cushion and back into the centre of the table for an easy shot at this 8-ball. On this table, these shots are makeable. He's got to decide whether he's just going to play it pocket weight and give it a chance of the pot, but then making the cueing more difficult, or whether he commits to it and plays a bit firmer. Well, he committed to it and caught it way too thin in the end.
Oh, I'm not sure Declan can quite believe what he did. He wandered off to go and sit in Chris's seat. It's incredible, really. I'd all but given him the opening frame, to be honest with you. I thought he was over. I thought he was done.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those spots where it just seemed like he was going through the motions. It was an uncharacteristic miss. It's a bad opponent to do it against, because Chris Day just looked rock solid in the last match, and he's going to be fancying the job. He's been a good player for a long time, and we were talking earlier about the World Final. That tells you everything you need to know, but it does particularly feel this weekend, but he's got an extra spring in his step. Sometimes the way you just turn up to a tournament, sometimes you just fancy it, other times you feel like you're doing everything right, but somehow it just doesn't seem to click together. Certainly been the case for the top 4 seeds who have struggled in both halves of the draw this tournament.
He's got the line, he's not going to reach. Obviously he's playing it in the middle.
So, great chance for Chris Day. Would love to get the first frame on the board. He's got the 2 reds tied up on the left-hand side. Obviously he'd always take this position 100% of the time. 6 balls in openish play, your opponent just down to 1.
Looks like he's going to try and play the breakout here. Caught the top side of them, so he's not perfect on the next ball.
Can play this shot with an element of safety in mind. It depends how much he wants to commit to it. He's not absolutely sure he can run the white forwards, leave it in a position it'll be hard to get to the 8 ball. That is what he's done. That worked quite well as a two-way shot because he didn't have to sacrifice too much with position. Would probably have played a slightly different positional shot had it not been for trying to cover the 8 ball, but still in okay shape. He's going to have to come with a couple of shots here. This isn't a complete formality still. A fair amount of angle, so he just wants to try to dig into this to kill the pace. The standard of play from the top players with that shot has markedly improved over the last few years. People play those drag shots so well, very easy to misjudge. If you don't quite get enough drag on and it's disappeared by the time you make contact, they can make you look silly, those shots.
Oh, I thought he'd missed that for a second, but he's got the cue ball all wrong. I'm not sure he can quite really work out what's happened there. He's trying to play down the line towards the red, and I mean he's been very fortunate to land plumb on it to the top right.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it's one of those where the fact he's got it so wrong has actually helped him. Because if he'd have ended up in between, he wouldn't have had much of a shot, but this has actually turned out okay. Still going to play a shot here, but a very makeable one.
Oh, and he's got this one wrong as well. Wow, that's very surprising.
Yeah, and that one I think you do just put down to nerves because he's just not got through that ball enough. He just needed to get through the red, nip it on and off the side cushion, and should have been nowhere near the black. This does still pop, but a much thinner shot now.
And he's overcut it. That is a big, big moment in this match. Really, really early. That's quite incredible that he's not got out there.
Yeah, and that does not set the match up well because look at the confidence Declan's going to have as he races back to the table. It's also an interesting comparison what they would see as success, because for some players anything short of lifting the title is just not a good weekend, whereas for others they might not admit it and they'll all say they're playing for the win, but there are players lower down the rankings for whom a quarter or a semi is a good weekend.
I think a quarter or a semi is a good weekend, but you never really want to come into a weekend thinking like that. But obviously, if you're making your way and you're in the events for the first time and you professional, then they're bigger results. Whereas if Tom Cousins makes a quarter-final, it's not really a story or a successful weekend.
And the ranking points are more material. When you're further down, the scores bunch together, and a couple of results like a quarter or a semi can lift you quite a few places. When you're right at the top of the rankings, anything other than a win isn't really making much difference.
Really, really nice split here for Declan. Great opportunity to separate even further.
Yellow balls in play.
And this is what you deserve when you break as well as Declan does. You do tend to get these splits. He's doing the right thing. He's staying very focused on the task, and he's also taking a few seconds to steady himself. He's not racing around the table. This has the feeling of a match that could be a tough afternoon for both players. Declan's well aware that Chris Day is in good form, and he's also just a very solid player that's not going to rush into anything. So if he's going to let him to the table, he knows that he could be ground down, not necessarily in style of play, but just Chris is going to make absolutely sure. So this yellow does just go past the black to the right centre, which is helpful, although pushed it wide. I don't know if that was because it was tight past the black, maybe he just couldn't quite see the whole pocket, thought he could just drop it in off the far jaw.
Yeah, big surprise that for me. When they came out as good as they did, I just thought it was going to be a very clean, clinical Declan Brennan finish, and it was going to be 4-1, and all of a sudden it feels like there's separation, and you can start to see the semi-finals.
Certain frames in matches always feel bigger. The fifth frame, when it's so often a difference between 4-1 and 3-2, just feels like it really sets the tone in a best of 7 and a first to 7. Not been many glimmers of hope for Chris. He's done well, chances he's made himself, but he's not expecting Declan to miss very often in open play. That was a chance he won't have been expecting to get quite so quickly. Good angle here, just to screen the cue ball back towards the centre of the table. Choice of reds available. And these link up pretty nicely for him because he can play the ball to the right centre, just leave an angle to the ball to the bottom right to come up for the 8 ball. Definitely a more important frame this for Chris than it is for Declan. Again, much like when he won his first frame, if he can just get this frame on the board, get to within 1, his break to come next. Do get the feeling with Chris, he's not a player that minds having to overturn a deficit in a match. I think in a way he quite enjoys the challenge of that. He was rightly pleased with his performance against Phil Harrison. Shaw was coming into this match expecting that he might be able to continue on from there.
In fact, the match they got coming up, Scott Gillespie and Dom Cooney, it was the final, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? It was the last event of the season. Dom had played well, but hadn't done a ton, and then suddenly blitzed everyone that weekend.
But the point I was still trying to make, I think, sort of stands that we're sort of expecting, it was this year going to be more of the same. The Chris Melling, Tom Cousins, Stevie Dempsey, Jordan Shepherd, Phil Harrison, and well, look at the lineup we have for this quarter-final. Somebody's going to make a return or a breakthrough.
Yeah, nice to see Scott Gillespie back in form. I think he felt like things weren't going too well his first match on Thursday. I think we both talked to him separately. He's feeling a bit of frustration about these trips down to Blackpool that weren't yielding much. I suspect we both said the same to him, that one good run could turn that around.
Absolutely. Yeah, always like to see Scott do well. That cannon's worked out nicely for Declan, and this is the chance. He's got that one ball just to solve at the top, but look at all the ammunition he has to solve that ball.
That's what you want when you've got a ball tied up, a few others near it, so you've got options into it, and you've got options when you play the cannon of landing on other balls. Can't ask for a much better position than this to seal the win. As long as you get a good result, it's nice being the first quarter-final because you put your place in the semi, you then got a bit of time off, you can let everyone else fight it out. Maybe from the way he's played it that yellow passes the red. If it does, this will be even easier. He'll just leave himself a slight angle. So the way he's played it tells you that that yellow must go past. So just the simple stuff to do now. You'll be able to get right behind the 8 ball, depending on the angle. He may be able to drift down the middle of the table, or certainly leave himself a shot from medium distance if not. Yeah, that's plenty. Just drift across a little bit.
Declan Brennan then the first player into the semi-finals of Pro Series 2. A very solid performance indeed, and he looks ready to win another title here with Ultimate Pool. Not what Goobsy was looking for. Hit them well enough, just couldn't find one to fall. Looks like a good chance at first glance. Just a little cluster around the 8 ball, but it's not too bad.
Red ball's in play.
Well, the black ball will definitely go into this bottom left-hand corner past that yellow. And the red will definitely go into the bottom right, but it's getting on the red.
Yeah, because you can kind of see the route to do it as a last ball, really. Because the one bottom right gets on the one on the bottom cushion, then gets back on the one into the centre, but then you're leaving it last ball, and then you're not guaranteed. So it just feels a bit out of the route, out of the pattern.
Yeah, I think he's just looking now, probably drop this one in over the bottom right-hand corner, one along the bottom rail, middle. If he has that, just get that little angle there to pop that. The last red will be the one next to the black, I think. Yeah.
As long as he can get on it without having to disturb the black was what I was thinking.
Yeah, this is the thing, because it is a bit tight there. And you could easily bump into it and push the cue ball on top of that yellow, and
yeah,
it can all go into an absolute nightmare. What I like about this is he's just got the cue ball at a little tiny angle here, Simon, so he just pops the cue ball away from that bottom rail. He's got right close to it as well. That's a lovely shot from Dom. Right, well, he's got his pick of his position here. But like you said, Simon, this has to be very, very precise the way he leaves his cue ball for that last red. He's going into it. The beauty of that shot where he is, though, if he just drags the cue ball back a bit, so he pulls it away from the yellow, the black will go towards his bottom left-hand corner, and the cue ball should come with it. Beautiful.
Yeah, nice. He just got perfect on it, didn't he, so he can control things. Very good visit to the table, this one from Dom Cooney. A reverse clearance is enough time for whichever player gets the chance. It's a perfect break for the first time in the match for Dom Cooney, and he gets the opportunity here. And this looks a good chance. I think he's on the yellow in the middle.
Oh, he is.
And the yellows all go. It's just the one below the 8 ball he's got a track. But other than that, these have all got pockets. Yeah. This is there for him.
He's just quickened his pace there, he knows.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, these sort of situations where some players can panic and just slightly overrush. Now, this is not a routine break clearance, of course, especially the situation, but it's one he knows he should get, but equally he wants to make sure he can't be countered at the same time. He just wants to make sure of it and doesn't have to rush.
Wants to just play this now into this centre, just roll through, and he can pop the yellow in above the black into this bottom left-hand corner. The yellow beneath the black will go into there and go the other way. It just runs this through. going to have a minute to pot these 3 balls. Is he screwing back? Or he's just got enough to get into the middle. Well, he's on the black. This for a 6-5 lead. There will be time left if he knocks it in, but
Yeah, not enough time. You'd feel it'd be almost a record clearance. How good is that from Dom Cooney? It really is, and I know it was a great chance, and can't take anything away from him. If that was in the club and he gets a split of that, he makes it all day long. But with everything that's just happened to him, the mental strength, the calm nature, I mean, he's just had 22 minutes 20, 15 seconds a shot, and he was going in slow motion. It was the calmest, coolest break clearance of the match.
Anyway, Dom Cooney, it won't be panic stations. That was a great chance to break the serve last one, but it's still on serve, and he's breaking well. There's another ball he's made, and Reds, do you think? Just given that yellow on the left-hand side cushion?
Yeah, I think that the red goes to the left middle first shot, I think.
Yeah, the one that's in bulk, I think, probably cuts back as well. But you're right, the one to left middle is the opener.
Red ball's in play.
It's okay. The one to the left-hand side and the one up in bulk kind of link with each other, but you know, it's not one of those absolute gimme frames, is it? You're not looking at this thinking to yourself, yeah, he's definitely going to get these. There's still a bit of work to be done.
Yeah, and he possibly wants to get onto this ball on the left-hand side next shot. I'd probably play the red into the right corner to swing round maybe off the 2 rails, but he did just point his cue for maybe the one into the right centre after this.
Yeah, I can kind of get that as well, because obviously it doesn't go to bottom right. So if he doesn't land on it now, how does he get on it? And then he probably can only get on it from the ball that's in bulk. So now he can play this and stun across, and he's got the one to top left, and all 3, as I say, all 3 of these kind of link with each other. So it's pretty good. He's done a lot of the hard work. Just needs to keep a tight cue ball. You could make a case for taking the one in the middle of the table now and screwing back across for the one on the left, but he's going to take it now. Nice glance on the yellow. He's got a decent angle here as well, so you can just drop this in and hold for the.
I think he might actually be a little bit thin, and if he is, he needs to run the cube off the right rail and between the red and the yellow being below the red. He's just glanced it, and he's missed the pot as well.
Yeah, you were right. That's a great spot. He was a little bit too thin, and if he finds the right angle, that finishes a formality.
To be honest, I think if he would have potted the red, he would have found that gap as well. I think it's just because he's missed the pot.
Yeah, yeah. So another chance comes to Declan, and a couple of unforced errors now.
I think we'll be seeing Declan try to play position for the skill shot, which he's just tried to play for them, but he's just stuck to this yellow and he's got no shot now. To be honest, he needs this to be touching ball. I'm not sure whether it is, but if it's not touching ball, he's going to struggle to get safe as well. What he's trying to do there was just come past that yellow to land as straight as he could on the skill shot. But he's just ran into this and stuck on it.
I'll tell you, there's been a couple of unforced errors from both of the players in the match so far, and you could see a whole match and not see this many mistakes. That's a very clever little shot there. Yeah, a little tap on the table from Dom.
I'm guessing that wasn't touching ball then, because if it was touching ball, he could have played that a lot softer and just nestled up to that yellow. But the fact Dom's tapping the table, it mustn't have been touching ball. He must have played that.
Oh, great shot. Great recovery from Dom. I mean, it was there. You know, it's one of those that you expect to get close, but still a very good shot. And bizarrely, these ones that are buried in the pocket, they're harder to get position off than a lot of other shots, aren't they? It's hard to control the pace of the cue ball and whether you're going to catch that knuckle. So he played that really well.
Yeah, and that's why we didn't see him just come off the side of that red there and try to bring the white down the table off the top cushion, because especially on a new cloth, it's very hard to judge how that's going to bounce.
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, he's just screwed that straight back and judged the pace to perfection. Well, let's have a look at this table. You can see what he thinks about it. I think there's work to be done.
I think at first glance it might not have been as bad as it looked. Maybe the opening pot is a little tricky if he wants to go reds, but he has gone yellows.
Yeah, so the obvious issue being the yellow and the red tied up in the middle of the table. That's going to need some attention. He's going to have to develop that position.
Yeah, I didn't quite get a chance to look if he could have potted a red there first, because if he could have gone reds, I mean, there was a lot more options to get into that bad area, whereas the yellows doesn't really have an obvious ball to cannon this bad yellow out.
Yeah, well, I think he's going to try and do it now, is he? But he's not guaranteed to be on anything. Not guaranteed to be on anything. He's missed the ball. Well, wouldn't you know it? Just one more mistake to add to the pile, and Dom Cooney comes to the table, and one of his problem balls has already been sorted by Declan. He still has one issue which he's now dealt with. I was about to talk about that ball that's just covered by the 8, but now he's opened up that. The yellow landing over the pocket to the top left just makes things a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, I think he's probably got to play the plant to the left middle now, and I'm not 100% sure what his next ball is. Possibly the one which is nearest to the centre of the table. Yeah, and he is on that ball now, so it'll be a slight screw back for the yellow left centre to try and leave an angle to then play the red nearest to the baulk line. I think he's perfect there as well, so just coming round to see where he wants to be.
Wow. Wouldn't you know it? Dom Cooney just needs to hold himself together. Oh no! Holy moly! That is incredible. I mean, that just tells the tale of the entire match, doesn't it? Wow. Honestly, I would have. I mean, it was match ball, wasn't it? Because
Yeah, it was,
because
yeah.
the last two were just that simple. It was match ball, and that just simply comes down to pressure.
Of course it does, yeah. And I mean, it's a horrible way to lose.
Oh, he'll be absolutely distraught, absolutely fuming, and you have to feel for him. Wow. What a win from Deck Brennan. I don't think he'll quite be able to believe.
Break. In this, the second Pro Series 2 semi-final. And that is about as bad a break as Luke Gilbert has probably hit today. He did mention to me in that interview his break had ironically been letting him down. It is usually such a weapon for him. He alluded to that. He felt like he'd been almost typecast as a bit of a break merchant. But it's been nice to sort of have his other facets of the game turn up and show his all-round ability. But let's be real, if he's to win a Pro Series semi-final against a really experienced and highly ranked competitor, he's going to need to break better than that. Sean Story has a very presentable opportunity on these reds, and this is a dream layout for your first frame of a semi-final, isn't it, Simon Webb?
Yeah, absolutely, and you're 100% right with Luke. He's got so much to his game, and yeah, he's got a fabulous break. He really does, especially considering, he's a tiny player, but he really does pack a punch. But he's absolutely all round one of the best players of his generation. Huge future in the game, but he's going to have to break better than that if he wants to win this match and this title. And this is a very presentable chance for Sean Story. Great to see him back in another semi-final. It's been a little while. He has been in plenty with Ultimate Pool.
I think you can say that for all four semi-finalists this evening. Good to see them back. It's been a little while.
He's a little bit short here as Sean. He was trying to get back to roughly the straight, and he's, well, significantly short. If he gets straight in top right, then it's just pretty much dot to dot from there. He's awkward. If he goes up the table, he's got the yellows to play around with, and to hold for the red right centre is difficult. If he comes down the table, he's awkward in an awkward cue ball as well.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of work to do. I just wonder if maybe the shot to play is the one just above the 8 ball, because the yellows play massive at the top of the table.
I was wondering if he could just drop it in and accept the fact he's going to be sitting somewhere on the yellow, just to the left of the yellow after the cannon, and then you just drop into the right centre pocket. To try and hold that, I thought was tough.
And ironically, that was quite a poor shot from Sean, because he's missed it on the thin side of the pocket. He'd have been trying to pot that as thick as possible.
And the shot before was incredibly poor, really. I know it's early and he's just trying to feel his way out there, but he could have overhit the shot. He could have come too far and still just dropped it in for the red. He had ways to deal with it, but being short was a real problem for him, and he was quite a long way short.
Well, that's a surprising miss from Luke Gilbert. Bit of a confused expression on the face of Luke there. Didn't like that. Tried to drag it in. It's quite a common method for some of the top players that they don't. Quite a few of them don't like rolling it. They prefer to get a bit of drag on it to quicken it up initially and then slow it down. Doesn't need them at the mercy of the roll of the table as much. Worst part, I don't think Luke has covered the pocket to the top right either. And this is, I think it's safe to say, after the high quality we witnessed in the first semi-final, where it was from the gun just a very, very good standard. A couple of mistakes changed momentum. This is a twitchy and nervy opening frame.
It is. I just think it's one of those semi-finals are for winning, isn't it? And it's just a case of just find your way, get yourself into the match, and the standard can ramp up. It doesn't really matter how, but we're still in a tricky spot here for Sean. He's, again, not gone far enough, so he's going to have to really work a good cue ball. He has more chance than he did previously, though. There is a line available.
Yeah.
Punch this through the gap with some running side.
Yeah, nice line he's found. 8 balls available to plenty of pockets, so he just needed to hit that line and he'd be pretty much okay anywhere.
He'll be really pleased with that shot in particular, because he's left a couple of shots short in this final so far, and that one was crossing the line all the way, and he absolutely timed it to perfection, and the pace control was brilliant.
Yeah, it might just take the both of them just a minute to settle.
Sean's going to stick with the same break he started with. See if he hits the same pace or tries to open up just a smidge more, a little bit more pace. Yeah, there was a bit more in that one. Don't think he hit it quite as well, though. There was definitely more pace in the
Yeah, not as many, obviously, balls troubling pockets, but it's actually split-wise come out beautifully here, I think. Bad break to go dry on because, well, I think yellows are, and reds, to be honest.
Yeah, the red on the
red at top left is obviously a problem, so you're going to go yellows, but both were pretty presentable chances there. Luke's got away with one a little bit there. That wasn't the greatest shot. Both of these players could do with just having an easy run out. Getting a frame on the board where they've played well and got the table down and just inject a bit of confidence, a bit of life into them.
Yeah, take out a first visit finish and just find a rhythm.
We've seen it a lot this weekend, especially in pressure environments when your body and your mind, it's got so much on it, it just reverts to type. The best players can adapt to the conditions under pressure because that's part of what makes a great player. But sometimes those who aren't maybe used to being in the semi-finals and are nervous on the occasion, reverting to type, you can't do it because in these conditions you'll struggle. You need to be fully concentrated on each and every shot.
They've both been there before, though. They've both been at this stage. They both know what they're going through. Sean obviously's gone on to win a Pro Series title. He's been many semi-finals. Luke hasn't got through this stage yet.
Yeah, 2 semi-finals for Luke, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he had that one against Chris Melling, I remember, and that was a very slow start for him, and then he really got going. And once he got going, he was fantastic and ended up losing in a 6-red shootout.
Well, he couldn't hit it better.
Yeah, deserves a ball. That's his best break. Even acknowledged by Luke Gilbert. That was fantastic.
What a time to find that break. When he needed it most.
Yeah, I just think some balls come together at the bottom of the table. How good a chance is this? Yeah, not good at the bottom, not good at the top, actually. This is a really poor layout. I think that was why he was smiling to himself as he's walking around the table. He's got a tough layout here. He may have to grind. Going for this finish may not be the right way.
Yellow balls in play.
So Luke Gilbert officially has the chance to qualify for his first Pro Series final. I would be surprised if it happened right here and right now. He would love it too.
Second shot clock in operation. Loss of turn.
So Luke Gilbert plays the loss of turn. I don't think you can really blame him for that. Wasn't a nice layout for him to come to the table, despite Sean technically running aground.
Oh, just got there in time.
Nearly fluked it as well.
Yeah.
Which would have been very sore for Luke to take.
It's amazing. That transition from 30 to 15, how often it catches the players out. And it caught Sean out there. And he's a very experienced player and one of the better players with the clock management. Yeah, Luke just, he can't be the one here. But he equally can't run the clock either. He's kind of got to play the frame normal, play the frame natural. Maybe try and force Sean to make the running. You feel like Sean wants to make the running.
Sean has to make the running.
I mean, there's still 8.5 minutes though. Just has to win this exchange, but he is going to take these on. The yellow at the bottom does go, which is why he feels like he has a chance to go, whereas the reds at the bottom do absolutely nothing. He caught the jaw.
Oh, he set the plant? No way.
If he set the plant, that's one of the biggest flukes I've ever seen.
No way.
This is really close. I mean, he's got to work the cue ball really hard here, but
that is a sensational fluke.
Yeah, and then it's great to see he's still got a sense of humour out there. He's had one of the biggest pieces of fortune you've ever seen, and then he bemoans his luck for not being on the yellow here.
He's got a shot. I think he can see the edge. Can he take it for a ride? It's a good effort, but it's not there. And Luke Gilbert, this is your moment. Six balls away from his first Pro Series final.
Extension court.
It's hold yourself together time.
You would like that red not to go and sit on the cushion. It shouldn't make any difference, but this is for a Pro Series final.
He's gone about these really nicely. You know, he looks confident, looks assured. 2 pots away. Couldn't be any better on this. For the first time, Lightning Luke Gilbert has struck a Pro Series final. 2 semi-finals prior, third time lucky for Luke.
You feel like you've been in the shadows for so long, and now an opportunity's come up, and nobody wants to do anything that would jeopardise that. And I think that shows in the whole environment, in the venue, and when we're playing, because the rivalries are all there, but we're actually enjoying that, and also we're all a little bit older now, so we'll let the youngsters.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same in a lot of sports, isn't it? You think of so many people that dominated their sports and often were great at a sport, but actually not very popular as a character, because it's not always a likeable personality when you just win all the time. But
yeah,
as people have been around in any sport, you kind of mellow and you realise what's genuinely important in life. I mean, Amy's still pretty young, but very experienced in pool terms. She's been around winning titles for a long time now.
It's very, very good to watch. She's so attacking.
Yeah, I mean, she plays the game the right way. Well, she's very entertaining when you hear her on commentary as well. Although she's not a naturally outgoing personality that loves doing that, she's actually great to listen to because she's so knowledgeable about the game and actually so much fun when you get to know her.
She's mad as a bag of rocks. She's That's an interesting shot from her.
Yeah, sort of.
I mean, obviously there was work to do, but it's almost...
Yeah, I don't quite know what to do. I mean, there are times when you want your opponent to go for something. I mean, Harriet is the kind of opponent as well that it probably does sometimes pay to encourage her to go for something attacking, but she is pretty good at it. Now, these yellows I think do all go. The one on the right hand side cushion made just about past the red down the rail. It's obviously not a simple clearance, but the ones in the middle can be made as well. Not tempted though. And you don't blame her. I mean, you obviously don't want to be, particularly early on in a match, going for a clearance unless you're sure of it.
I think the big advantage that Champs is getting the rewards for is that her decision to play a lot more men's pool. And learn her trade. She plays interleague and local league where she lives. And that will always stand you in good stead for the ladies' game and encourage that attacking play because of the one visit pool that the guys normally play. But again, I just feel like we're catching up quite quick now. I think the ladies' game is catching up.
Yeah, I think of the new players for the Pro Series, that Amy is definitely somebody to watch. She qualified for the main Pro Series by virtue of being #1 ranked ladies player last year.
Yeah.
I mean, Emma's been on that series for a while, and she's played some great stuff. I don't think we've quite seen the best of her. You know, like you were saying, she's coming into form. I was tipping her in an interview last week as somebody that hasn't quite shown us her best on Ultimate Pool and feels like she's not far away from getting back to it. And it's great having a few female players now on the Pro Series, because, as you say, it is narrowing the gap in standard.
Again, I think when you get to those latter stages, or especially if you're playing on the men's Pro Series, they're actually playing really well. But as you know, I mean, I watched Brian Harcrow, Chris Mellon, and Chris came out and said, I had another shot and I was 6-0 down, and I had 2 shots and I cleared up. You can lose and not do anything wrong, but I think it's also going to help their games. So, and that's a great shot.
Yeah, that's worked out well. The fact she's got lots of angle isn't a bad thing at all, because she wants the white up the other end of the table for easy access to the 8-ball. She needs to focus on the pot here.
Yeah, just a touch aside and she'll come out nice and up.
Just putting a little extension on the cue. Just the fact she had to cue over the balls. Nervous moment when that didn't look like it was going to drop. It's gone down.
Should be pleased with that.
Yeah, good clearance. 2-1 now. The players then both left the arena for a break, which is a little bit unusual, and not sure that was strictly okay, but I think the referee had to have a word with that. And then the match really sped up after that. It was a very strange game.
Maybe we should let everybody nip off.
Yeah. Harriet came back so purposeful after that break. So the first 2 frames back, she cleared up in, felt like about a minute each time. She was really racing around the table. I think if the match is remotely one-sided, the 50 minutes will be plenty. If it goes very close, we could see the match clock play a part. Same format as before, so the first 40 minutes being played to a 30-second shot clock, and the last 10 minutes a 15-second shot clock.
Chance is looking at reds here.
Yeah, these will come out pretty nice. 2 on the right-hand side, Kishan, the top one is obviously blocked by the bottom one. I'll choose to clear the bottom one out first.
Yeah, I think she'll be doing this. She'll be dropping that red into the right centre. Oh. I thought that was actually wide then. She might even be able to bring this out if she wants to.
Yeah, it's a dilemma, isn't it? The fact that the 8-ball's not in a great place, ideally there's not too many difficult balls on the table, so yeah, she's played that really well.
Nice shot. Again, it just makes your work a little bit easier because, like as you say, the black ball is tricky, plus the red that's the furthest at the top end of the table, obviously, I believe will only go into top left, so it's just a little bit of work, get your work right, and there's plenty of obstacles for it to go wrong. However, she could also leave a double on the black as well, so options.
Yeah, I mean that seems like the percentage option, doesn't it? It's not very well situated to bump into it, and if you did bump into it from above, you could risk knocking it into that cluster of yellows.
Yeah, I think by taking that way, yeah, it's the double all day long now. Just a simple drop in for both and leave the double, yeah.
Coming around to look at the angle. So left yourself a nice angle just to drift down the table a bit to line up for the double. Just come far enough. Done with the keyboard a shade further down the table. Great shot. I mean, the standard of doubling into the middle pocket has just become exceptionally high. It's easier said than done. You're playing a big final, you're bound to feel some element of nerves.
Oh,
that's pretty unlucky because that white was going nowhere near that pocket at one stage. What a good break it is apart from that.
It did look like it was on the way, but
Yeah,
it's definitely unfortunate, yeah.
Look how well that spread out these balls are.
I don't know how many times I did that against them. Nah.
Yeah, it's always the way when you put the white off the break or have a dry break, you wish you'd mishit the break and left clusters everywhere.
Yeah.
And invariably you split them up so well.
I think this is a great opportunity for Harriet to, what you'd call a settler. She's not unsettled, but it's still nice to be able to get your hand on the table and nothing too complicated to do, apart from where I think the yellow that's in the middle of the table is the one that she's going to try and work something out with, but the rest is...
Yeah, the issue with the one in the middle of the table, obviously would pot to the bottom left if the other ball wasn't there, but...
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, that's a very good shot. Didn't want to have to, I mean, it wasn't really feasible to have to play back up to the top end of the table for it, so purposefully got on it there. And that's just unlocked the whole frame with that one shot. And of course, Amy sitting in her chair is just thinking, these should have been mine. These were a simple finish off my break. That's the nature of pool, of course. Cuts both ways.
Not so sure she'd be pleased with that.
No, she's wanted to leave this a bit thicker because then she can just have guided the white up the left-hand side of the table. If she can't quite hold it, she's going to have to do a lot more travelling. Oh wow! For a moment, she's found a good gap, but that's a tough line.
Yeah, trying to get through them reds would have been. She's going to come off the cushion. That's a great shot.
Yeah, I mean, she just played that like it was over the pocket. That's of course not something that Challenger players will be that involved with because the match is not normally played to a timed format, so there's no reason to get involved in a 6-red shootout normally. It's only the semi-final and final where that's a possibility. So the usual service, ball's potted off the cut break. To play the yellow off the red, or off the cushion and off the red to open this pocket up.
Yeah, she's played that well.
Ball just to the right of the black spot, pots to the bottom left-hand corner, I think. Doesn't she can play it to the opposite middle. Oh well, what a surprise that is. It's not the ball you thought she'd miss in that clearance.
It almost felt rushed. The shot almost felt rushed, and if you look at where she's finished up, she hadn't actually landed on the ball at the bottom of the table to drop it in for the other one into the right centre, but just a containing shot from Amy.
Yeah, she likes to go for a clearance, but still, you can have your limits, particularly when you outnumber your opponent in terms of balls on the table. May as well take advantage of that fact. She need to play yellow off red. Well, that was an aggressive shot. It's going to be much easier now for Amy to play a safety shot because these balls are all quite tied up at the bottom of the table. She just plays the white up in the bulk end. She ought to be able to pick out a spot where Harriet can't see much.
Again, would you say clock management starts to come into it here? She's in control to a degree, Amy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think if you've got a slightly bigger lead, you start thinking about defending it. I guess
obviously
at this point you sort of know you can't. I think where the clock management does come in is you sort of know you're eating up time playing a tactical frame, and also you may or may not think you've got an advantage going into that 15-second portion. I guess both of these players probably broadly similar. They're both quite quick players. I guess neither is going to have a particular edge in that portion.
And obviously right now you would have to fancy Amy because purely because she's got more balls on the table to be able to hide. And obviously if she can work them and run that clock down and was to take a 7-5 lead.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that is exactly that point, isn't it? Because it's not sitting on the 6-5 lead, but if she grinds out this frame and then does win it 7-5 with only, maybe 8 or 9 minutes, it may be more than that, depending on how this plays out. But then that suddenly is a big lead.
Yeah.
You always like whatever the race is to get on the hill when your opponent's still a few back. So this is a sort of free hit frame. If she gets 7-5 up, then she just needs to win one of the last 3 frames. I mean, Amy doesn't mind this tippy-tappy game at all because these balls are going nowhere at the moment. I mean, it can turn around pretty quickly, so she'll keep an eye on it, obviously. One of the key things here, if you're on reds, is to keep all your balls in possible positions, just in case a chance does present itself.
I think Harriet is managing, even though she has got less balls. She's definitely again manoeuvring them slowly but surely. So they are all there, and Amy just needs to be on the ball and make sure she gets the right spot and doesn't give her half a sniff because the black's available. Apart from the one yellow, there's the middle one of the 3, which would need some work. They're now sitting okay.
I think distance has to be her friend, really. Well, I felt she couldn't get up to the top of the table.
I think she could, but it was just a case of she didn't want to leave the yellow that's on the right-hand side and leave an angle. She could have screwed in to the cluster in the centre or run it through.
Well, that's a positive shot, isn't it?
I don't think she's got an angle to be able to, although the yellow, if it doesn't go direct, may well be able to take a little kiss off of the red.
Well, yeah, certainly not going to be a great shot from Amy if she's going to have to finish on here.
Oh, that's not the best shot from... I think she would have liked it an inch or two, pull it an inch or two back from there.
Yeah, she would, because she's now got the problem that even if she pots the yellow, it's not guaranteed to be nicely on the black.
And it just took a little nick off of that red.
No harm done, of course. The fact that the red ball's potted, that is just a loss of turn, but harm done by the fact she's missed the pot because now Amy's back at the table. Much more pressured spot though. When she was last at the table, it was a case of a tippy-tappy safety and didn't really feel like it mattered too much what happened, whereas now she's got an opponent with a ball right over the pocket, so needs to do something.
Yeah, I think I would have been tempted to do what Amy's doing here. I think she's going to clear that pocket now.
Yeah, she had a good ball for that. I mean, the other option, of course, she could have played a loss of turn. She could have played down the right-hand side of the table and left the white frozen near the reds and opened the pocket up that way, but then you give your opponent a shot. Felt like she could maybe get into a place to go for the clearance. So the good news, bad news, the fact that yellow's got into the mix. It makes the clearance harder, but I mean, she can play a safety like she's played.
That was the shot, yeah.
Now Harriet's got to be a bit careful here, because if she smashes into the yellow, the black's going to be moving around. There's a risk it could go in somewhere.
And that was... I was just going to say, I thought that was red ball first.
Don't worry, Richard Rhodes, our referee, is on it.
Well, of course he is, but it was just, obviously he's waiting for the balls to stop moving, but I was thinking, oh.
What has happened there? Ball in hand, and Amy Beecham has just missed an inexplicable shot. Worse than that, she's left an angle for her opponent to put the yellow and get up the table.
Oh, wow.
Well, she's not going to need asking twice. Goodness, what a miss from Amy. That was a glorious chance to go 7-5 up. Now she's going to get herself stuck in a match. 6-all is the scoreline. If it was a slower frame, you might not. Well, a rare dry break, and at first glance, not a bad split.
What a time to have one, though.
Yeah, you've got to feel for her, given the way it's gone so far. She's been breaking so consistently in this match.
Yeah. And yellows do. This is a great chance for Amy to take the title for the Ultimate Pool Women's Pro Series event #1.
Yeah, first one ever. Always nice to win the first one. Well, luckily for her, she's got an extension because she suddenly got caught out by the shot clock. Still okay, you can clip the ball down the rail. White naturally coming across the table should leave a choice of shots. Suddenly starts to feel so rushed, doesn't it, with this 15-second shot clock? You just hear the pips every time.
Well, you're already at 10 by the time you've gone out of your chair and got to the table, and when you're around the table, it's a killer.
And stuff like this, where you come around to look at an angle, you can suddenly find that the pips are going and you're nowhere near being ready to play the shot. Wow, you always felt there was going to be a final twist in this match.
Yeah.
I mean, time is very relevant now. We were just talking about the clock a bit earlier, but now Amy doesn't have to win this frame. She just has to stop Harriet winning it. Harriet's going to feel pressured, you suspect, to go for something attacking. I don't think here, now she's finished in this position, she's obviously going to have to bail out.
6 red.
Oh, well, it was a foul. No.
What? She didn't hit a cushion.
Let's have a look at a replay of this. Did she not hit a cushion after contact? No, she didn't, and that was eagle-eyed by the referee, and that's changed absolutely everything.
Richard the Hawkeye Rhodes.
If you played that shot, it felt like with ball in hand, you might have taken the opportunity to play the one in the middle of the table and nudge the
black
eight ball.
Yeah. I'll do it now. Or well, she might be able to just dink this in and then take the black up the top. I think she's landed dead straight. No need to move. Oh no. A little nudge. That's a great shot.
Yeah, she'll be happy with the way that's turned out. That's one of those shots you can end up stuck to the ball.
Yep.
Wow, what a great performance from Amy Beecham to get over the line.
Your first ever Women's Series Pro Champion is Amy Beecham. And stick around, everybody, because the Men's Pro Series 2 final follows us in just a moment. We'll be back.
It is the Pro Series 2 final. We have the former champion, Declan Brennan, up against one of the young superstars coming through the game, Luke Gilbert, in his first final with Ultimate Pool. And he gets us underway. Race to 8, 50 minutes on this one. And it will be Declan Brennan with the first opportunity. Simon Webb and John Rowe with you in the commentary box here. And John, you obviously know Luke well. Yep. What do you make of this final? Do you think Luke's going to he's not going to wilt away on the final, is he?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, the one thing that was apparent in the semi, he was getting some good chances at taking them well. So I think that's a pattern that he can do, and he's done it before. And I think if he gets the chances, he'll do it again. So yeah, I don't think that's really an issue. Now you've got this far, you're so far into it that adrenaline sort of can kick in, but that can be good adrenaline as well as negative adrenaline inside you. But I think he's going to be on a good flow from the semi-final, and hopefully it continues for him. But I mean, coming dry there isn't the best of starts. You feel that the way Decky ended that match with Dom, that he's going to be on a bit of a high now, and he might try, if he gets a good start, he's going to want to end it quickly. Yeah,
absolutely. You think that Declan's just going to, if he finds that level, then Luke's going to have to really find his best game. Yeah. Declan has won on the tour before. He is obviously the WPF World Masters champion, which was shown on Ultimate Pool TV. But in terms of Ultimate Pool titles, he has the inaugural Pro Series title way back at the start. Since then, it has been 6 straight semi-final losses for Declan Brennan. He's not been able to make the breakthrough until now. This has been his first final since that first one, and a disappointing start for him.
Yeah, that's an unexpected miss and a good chance for Luke. And the best thing with this chance for Luke is it's off the back of a mistake from Declan, because it'll just have a little effect on Declan moving on through the match. So Luke wants to punish this. Quite a nice layout, just the first 2 shots to get into good position, and then it should be pretty easy pickings from there.
Start the semi-final, it felt edgy. He had a similar sort of scenario against Sean Story and kind of made a mess of it.
Yeah.
But I think this is a different story in the final. I think sometimes the semi-finals can be edgier than the finals.
Yeah, I think maybe the only thing I would say about Luke's semi, you know, we speak about when you get punished by the pool gods, when you make mistakes. I don't think Luke really got punished by the pool gods. He seemed to be let off easily by having another easy chance the next time, and you still got to take them chances. So, you know, they're not always at his stake. But I just feel, you know, when you get punished by them, it can hurt you a bit more. But I think if he's getting chances like this and taking them now, sort of Declan's let him off the first chance. So, you know, Declan's the one that should be getting punished now. Just, I don't know if he's a fraction high on this. Can maybe hold it. He's got a bit of leeway. Even if he goes past the red slightly, he's still okay. Still got a whole half of the table to play with to get back onto the black.
Yeah, he controlled it nicely.
Yeah, he'll probably just a little screw back on this just to leave himself slightly longer black. Yeah. And Declan will be definitely mulling over his mistake.
Yeah, lovely start for Luke Gilbert. Always nice when you get to that table and there's half the yellows are out the way and you've got a nice open chance on the reds and they're all there. But that's a real nice settler for him into the match.
Perfect. You know, unfortunately for Dom, even in the last
that
semi,
was
what a great player he is. You know, he's still, you could tell that. It's just sorry to mention it for him. You know, it's just an example, but every player's done that. You know, there's not a player that hasn't actually done that. So you know, he's not alone there.
Well, try break again for Luke Gilbert, 2 from 2.
Looked like a bit of a snatchy one, that one. He didn't hit it quite as clean as his others.
Yeah, almost got a touch too low on it for me. A little bit too much screw on the ball.
Yeah, and has he left a... Well, if he has or he hasn't, it's a clearance Declan's got to take on and get.
Yeah, a little bit messy. You got the... Does the yellow above the red in the middle of the triangle area, must go right centre, but where's the 8 ball go? It's all fine, but it's work throughout here.
Can he pop the yellow above the red and knock the yellow towards the corner pocket, and that could possibly be a nice ball to get on the black off of? Depends where it is. There's that plant that's a little bit tricky as well. You need to get this cue ball back out to somewhere near where it is now, doesn't it?
Yeah, the individual elements of this finish aren't too bad. There's just lots of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and getting the cue ball from one to another. This looks good. Oh, is he flicking that? Oh, well, he's on it in the middle.
Well, if it goes in the centre, he's okay. I don't know if he was trying to play into it or he was playing for it in the centre.
Yeah, and all of a sudden that plant becomes another tricky one, because he might have to play the plant and land on the next ball when he plays the plant. He'd like to take them individually, and I don't know if that's what he's looking at, but... Yeah, I was just wondering if there's any sort of safety on there. It possibly is, but with the reds at the top of the table, if Luke hits any of them, it'd not leave a great deal on, so... Is he looking to get on the bottom red?
I think yellow? He was really looking hard to see what window he had for that bottom yellow. Yeah. He obviously doesn't like the plant.
But the plant isn't bad from where he is though now, because he can stay on. He can play it with right hand side, use the red to hold the cue ball slightly, and he can stay on the next yellow. So I do fancy him to get it. Obviously he's just potted it funny and come back over. Right, then he's He's got 2 shots here that can be quite tricky to judge, I think, because he's potting this one if you put this thin or thick, makes a massive difference to the cue ball, doesn't it? Where you land. Is he going to overhit it and come back? He's overhit it, hit the red. Oh, he's hit the yellow. I think he wanted to hit the red there.
Yeah, he got his line slightly wrong.
Could be alright. It's just this is going to be a tricky little shot. It could land nice though, because he could just bump into the black, couldn't he?
Yeah, leave a thin yellow and on and off the cushion.
Just bump into the black, but this is not an easy shot.
And he's left that thin yellow. I was wondering if he gets slightly thick on it, he might be able to just play the short position. But
yeah, I think you play this cannon, but just play it quite softly so the black doesn't travel too far from the cue ball, because it gives you a bit more leeway in the on the cannon. So he plays. Yeah, that's right. So the cannon wasn't the perfect line, but because he didn't hit too hard, it's still potable.
yeah, it's awkward, but it's potable.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah.
Awkward for me.
Yeah. He's going corner. I thought he might go cut middle, to be honest, but
Just got to dig the cue ball as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, but even if you're getting them bits go for you, it's still important to stay focused, because it's easy to take it for granted, isn't it? You've still they're only really bits of luck if you make the most of them. Hit a great last break, and he's got a good break again this time. Does the yellow go bottom right is the question.
Does have such a unique breaking style, but really does hit it well.
Yeah.
It's tight, isn't it, that one at the bottom?
I think it goes.
I do as well.
Yeah.
On the overhead it looks like it doesn't, which tells me it does.
Your commentator's eye is...
I'm pretty sure it does, although he's looking at reds anyway. So
reds are a lot more straightforward. It's just his first pot. Which is
Declan. I don't think the miss in the last frame would have really worried him too much, in terms of he knew he had to turn it in and it was a tough shot and it went wrong. He can just write that one off, but this one will be in his mind.
And this it wasn't an easy first shot. I just thought maybe it's a little bit of a difficult first shot to take on if that yellow goes bottom right. To me, the yellows are so easy. The plant, even you play the plant in the middle and it still holds off it. But maybe the fact that Luke hasn't took yellows
Tells us that the yellow probably
doesn't go.
Yeah. One thing's for sure though, Declan Brennan will never shy away from taking on a tough first ball.
No,
if it's the ball that wins the frame, he will take it on.
Well, that's what lost him the last frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean, he did exactly the same. That was the shot that wins in the frame. That was the shot that wins in the frame. They'd both just gone against him. First real. Well, he's been 2-0 in front before. We're going in batches of 2 right now, wasn't it? 2-0, 2-2. Chance for 4-2.
Yeah. The red must go left centre as well. Again, nice layout now for Luke off that miss from Declan. I don't know how tight this is. I don't think it. The way I say Declan went for reds and the way Luke's gone about this, it doesn't look as if this is that tight. But
yeah, I think he's got pretty much 3/4 of the pocket here.
I don't know if it's one of them you want to just drop in or but I don't even think it's like that tight.
So this is the ball that Declan missed to set up this opportunity for Luke Gilbert. It becomes a very good last ball for the 8 ball.
Well, I don't know if he wanted to stun that in, but it's still a nice shot to have.
And it goes 2 frames in front once again for Luke Gilbert. 4-2, halfway.
Good break.
Huge. Oh, he got another little bump. He holds up his hand to apologise. I can't get on board with that. He hit the perfect break. It would have been very unlucky to go in off here.
Yeah. What's he got? Yeah. He's got a bit, you could say maybe a bit close to the corner, but then you say the bump across the table. So you can overanalyse the break, can't you? So much is happening. You can't be saying sorry for every single little kiss that goes right on the break.
This feels like a shot that Declan had earlier on. It feels like frame ball in the first shot. Luke makes it. It's not frame ball, he still has to make the rest, but that was a big starter, but the rest are all there.
Yeah, these should definitely be gone. And it is a double. It's going to be a double punishment for Declan, I feel. I shouldn't really say these are in. Last time I said that, I think I maybe cursed him a little bit. But I hope he's learnt from his lesson from that last frame. Then when he did that, it's a bit short. He's all right. It's just come up enough. But this next shot, he wants to be straight on it, doesn't he?
If he gets straight on it, though, you can't see how he can fail from there, because then it just becomes drop-ins.
Straight or fractionally past. Slightly low, he'll take.
He's come a little bit further.
Fractionally. Yeah, he's still okay.
He's got to use the top cushion.
Yeah, he's just going to play this a bit side to try and slow the cue ball down as it comes back off the top cushion. Doesn't want to hit towards the bottom of the cue ball, just side on it. That's it. Still coming.
Almost needs more side. Yeah. How this is tough. He's going to have to. If he tries to play this with side to get down below the 8 ball, he's got a problem, and he's not going to try. He's going to look at a gap. That cue ball just travelled a little bit too far for him. The straighter was the better.
He is taking a risk here, but I think he's got no choice, has he? It's good, is it good? It's good.
It's very good.
It's good.
He's still got to be careful. The cue ball's going to be going quite high here.
Yeah, you don't want to put it thin.
He played the cannon. Beautiful shot. Really had to dig deep at the back end of this finish. If he got the positional shot 3 or 4 shots ago right, he would have been simple. But he did manage to dig hard, and he gets out. Hope for Declan Brennan.
Oh, I think it's too early to say.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking.
Do you?
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Come on, tell me.
I mean, it's got a very similar feel to the semi-final here for Declan Brennan.
I was going to say that, actually, yes.
Tom Cooney had 2 great chances to beat Declan Brennan in the semi-final. He did not take them.
Well,
that's the first one for Luke Gilbert.
Cool. Can you see the edge of that?
Don't think so.
I wondered if he could, if it was a cut in the middle. But no. Surely not. Oh.
That'd have been some way to win it for Team Bless, though.
Whenever I play Luke, I hate snookering him. I think, do you take the risk of snookering Team Blessed? You know, it's.
I don't think Declan was doing it on purpose. I think he was playing the combination with a safety net, but.
Yeah, that's right. But will that perk him up enough like it did in the semi? He really perked up, didn't he? And took out 2 frames really quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's an extra frame to take out this time.
Yeah, it's a further comeback here.
Yeah.
He's got 11 minutes to do it, but he'll just be glad he's got a chance.
And what will Luke be thinking about that?
It's really important for Declan to make sure that the next time Luke touches the table, it's a 2-frame game at 7-5. It really is. It's not just about winning the frames at this point. It is about winning them in and putting that pressure onto Luke.
Surely this can't happen again.
Well, he's done the first part. He's mopped things up pretty quickly there as Declan Brennan. 7-4 now the scoreline. He has the next break.
I'll tell you what, 8 minutes.
It's on, yeah.
Yeah, it is on.
He's got one. He's got one. It's messy. Top left is messy.
Could that help Luke for time, though?
Well, let me ask you the question another way. If you're Declan Brennan right now, would you take a 6-red shootout?
I don't know. I think I'd rather concede than have a shootout. Save the embarrassment. Yeah, I think you got to say he probably would, but does that red go top left? Can he get to it enough to pot it?
I don't think so. I wonder whether he's thinking about getting underneath the one on the left-hand side and popping it off it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't quite, does it? I don't know if you could just turn it in if you rolled it. But he doesn't want to leave too fewer options, does he, down the bottom here?
I wonder if he was trying to get there then,
Yeah.
and he just got into it a tip too much. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's quite a nice red to play this shot on as well, because it will bump out nicely as well. I would say he's nearly perfect on this. If he pots it thick off that red. He needed to play it thick, but he's all right, I think.
It still goes, and he can still
Yeah.
connect to it. It actually connects really well.
Yeah. Wants to get nice and close to this.
It's the same top right-hand corner pocket that he's just missed in.
I'm glad he can't hear the commentary. But I'm sure he's possibly thinking it himself, but Mookie just cue it nicely.
This time it goes in, and this time he has the gap. It's a drop in for the 8 ball.
Good shots. This is it for his title.
It's there. Lightning Luke Gilbert is a Pro Series champion for the first time. What a performance from the young man. It was coming.
Your Pro Series 2 champion is Lightning Luke Gilbert.